No, I use Opus Pro.
Ah, okay.
And what we usually do is we get the draft from Opus Pro, and then we put all of the source video material into DaVinci Resolve and do the cuts over there.
Wow. All manually.
It's not all manual because what we do is we take the transcript from Opus, import it into DaVinci onto the film, and then there's a script that we run that will allow us to pick out the script that's already in place from the Opus film and tag the beginning and end and cut it, and then we just release it.
Gotcha.
David, are you going to start a notes today?
Hold on one second. I just want to see.
Oh, we're live.
Yeah, sorry, I just made us live, but that's okay. We can talk in the background. But I also just realized that I have the wrong date on this. Let me just jump in here and change it real quick. Not sure if I can.
We're going back in time.
Yeah.
Can you mute the audio going to it?
I could, but then we wouldn't have this really wonderful, annoying music.
John Idelson, read my chat. A little private conversation. Sorry, guys.
No, it's all good. So the Robert, I haven't gotten back to you. My head has just been completely and utterly consumed with what's going the fire that's going on around the world. So that's why I apologize that I haven't gotten back to you.
I understand, that's no problem. Just take your time, but just remember that card's on the table, so when you want to use it, just use it.
You're incredibly sweet. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Have you ever gotten your systems to work and they've continued to work for a long enough time that if something broke, you would have no clue how to fix it? Because I feel like that's where I am. You want me to open a note? How do I open a note?
Yeah, I think we should. I think you keep saying we should have note.
Yes, no, you're right. All right, so let's do it.
Just
New note.
trying to.
And we'll call it Zoom Test Kitchen. And we'll call this 11, 10, 23. And then share the meeting. Collaborating, share note. All right, we now have a note. I worry about, if my audio were to get out of sorts, honest to goodness, I would have no idea how to fix it. Because it's just, I set it up once, it has worked for so long. We really need to redo the flooring in my office, but I haven't let them do it yet, because to do that, I would have to unplug everything. And that's just terrifying to me.
We do that all the time. We do it every couple of weeks.
Oh
That's how you test your system.
I could not do that.
David, I thought playing with toys is the way you learn how to make things work.
That's
No,
right.
absolutely. But once I get something working, especially if I rely on it, oh man.
Chicken.
Yeah, very much so. Very, very much so.
You know, you heard about Lois?
No, what happened?
Really bad fall in the shower.
Oh,
She's in the
no.
hospital for a couple of days.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Right.
Talked to her earlier.
No, I didn't hear about that. Please send her our love when you do speak
Yeah,
to her.
please.
Thanks, Ray.
I hate that it's going out over the network. All right, now we got an open note. What are we supposed to do with it?
I'm putting some stuff in.
Oh, all right.
Wait, can you see it? Because I just put some stuff in.
I put it.
Yeah,
I did an okay.
I can see it.
Yeah, okay. I don't think you're in the note, Ray, because I don't see your okay. I mean, actually, I do see you here, but
I clicked okay.
oh, you clicked okay. So you may just have to open notes at the bottom because I do see you in there. You know, it's funny. I forgot about notes, and I was trying to think earlier today because I had some things I want to share. Where should I put them? And so I have them just sitting open on my desktop, but I really should have just put them in notes.
To be very honest with you, I'm struggling with notes because I use Zoom for the production stuff, and I just don't use it as a communication tool
Right.
with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it open.
I agree, Robert. I think if I were running regular meetings, you know, if I had a board meeting or something that was meeting regularly, and we were using notes on a regular basis, then I think it would come in really handy.
I can imagine someone like Gerald. I don't know if Gerald will be joining us this evening, but he has lots of meetings during the day. Instead of taking down notes, he could use this.
So the things he could use. Well, we can't talk about them here.
But if I have, I don't know, 2 Zoom meetings, no, 1 Zoom meeting every 2 weeks, I'm not going to learn a new tool to do that. Ray,
Okay,
are you gonna
sports
be using-
fans.
oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
I was just about to ask if you're going to be using your new toy behind you. Are you just going to show it off, or are you going to use it today?
Now, I show it off this way. When I'm on it, it just looks like this. So, but we got you slated for one. We got one coming your way.
I'm
We
waiting
just
for
have
it.
we just have some scheduling issues. All right, guys, break a leg. break a lens. Hi, Mike.
It's getting cold in Canada. Mike has his earmuffs on.
10 degrees Celsius. So,
Incidentally, well, I'll say it offline. Forget it. Sorry. Forget it. Forget about it. Oh, I just had a thought about notes. You know what would be nice is if they allowed you to have notes have a transparent background, so you could bring it over your Zoom window and use it as a teleprompter. That would be nice.
Brilliant, David. Brilliant.
Brilliant. Ah, I'm brilliant. No, I'm not. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the kitchen. Welcome into the kitchen. Good to see you. Let's make the rounds. Robert, how are you?
Having a bit of problems with my sinuses, but otherwise doing well. Been struggling with events with interpretation on Teams this week, so
Really?
it's good to be back on Zoom.
Wow. They're talking. I saw they've been talking about in office hours about doing a lab on Teams specifically, and
Yeah.
I had to work. Met with someone this week who's using Easy Webinar, which I had never heard of before. In any case,
Microsoft Teams is now going to be leaving the live events for a webinar product, but they've just released it. But because we're dealing with corporate organizations, before the IT departments actually accept that new webinar product, I think we'll be looking at a 12 to 18 months. So we're stuck with
Gotcha.
live event.
Gotcha. Well, it's good to see you. Oh, Frank is here. He's coming in. Mike, how are you, Mike?
doing good, everybody. How's everybody doing?
I have to say, every time I see you, the headphones don't bother me, but the metal things sticking out of your head, yeah.
Oh,
Those
no, well,
every
officially,
time, like they just throw me every time. I'm not sure why.
honestly, they're not antennas. So let's take that all out of everybody's mind. Okay. So they're not antennas. Those are actually the old style of adjusting these headphones.
Right.
So
Right. They click up and down, right? Yeah.
no, actually they don't, because they are the more pro end. They actually grab on properly on the sides.
Nice.
So it's the actual side stuff. So it actually is very, 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 flexible in the regards of how they actually bring the cups into the side of your head.
I just checked my 1969 Amazon account, and yeah, they discontinued them that year.
In 1969.
Oh yeah. These are the you can see on the side there. That's the brand.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are used quite often in studios and such when you're doing studio sessions and stuff for musicians.
I set up my wife in our home office this past week. She had conferences to do, and I have not as small as this, but just normal sort of earbuds. I cannot get her to wear earbuds. It's just I don't know what it is, but and I'm sure that there are lots of other people like her that they don't, the headphones, it's not that they're lazy, it's that it's just another thing to get in the way, to deal with, to bother with, and Zoom does such a good job of dealing with that slapback that it's less of a problem. In any case, Ray. Hello,
David.
my friend. Hello, my friend.
Hello. How are you?
Well.
It's a crazy time, but we're glad to be able to get together once a week.
It is good to be together once a week. It absolutely is. And Hasmuk is here. Hello. Hasmuk's here twice. We get double the Hasmuk, double the fun.
Well, I upgraded to Sonoma, and I can't get my audio hijack at home working because of some security thing I need to do. So I triggered the meters at the office, and that's how I brought it in.
So just to be clear, for people who don't understand what Hasmuk just did, I think, because he had to update something at home, he took the long route. He VPN'd or something into his office, used his office computer to join this meeting, bring the meters in, and now he's here from home. Oh my goodness.
All that from 15,000 miles away.
That is so damn impressive. So damn impressive. Wow. It's really good to see you. Let's see. Tony. Oh my goodness, Tony. I haven't seen you in forever.
Glad to be here.
How you feeling, my friend?
Feeling pretty good. No complaints.
Good.
Started outpatient physical therapy yesterday. I'm sorry. Yesterday was my second session. Things are getting better every day. Every day is better than the last.
You know what? It's all we can hope for. A little bit better every day. God bless you. Good, good, good. And hello, Mr. Frank. Professor Frank. That's what we should all start doing. We should start calling him Professor Frank. No? Okay, we won't do that. And John Idelson. Hello, Mr. Idelson.
Greetings all, and greetings from beautiful Monterey Bay, as I always say before.
What is behind you that is so cool?
There's a wall. What are you thinking?
No, the patient monitor thing.
Oh.
Is that really there?
Yeah, no, that's me. No, it's fake.
Oh, you have a background. Okay.
Oh
no, it is real. You do have it there.
Oh, it is there, but it's not a real patient monitor.
No, I wasn't sure if it was a part of a virtual background or something.
No, there's all real. You're seeing me in the real space. If I find my iPhone, I could change that to do all sorts of other little things. Could be an on the air sign. If it's too distracting, I'll turn it off.
No, it's lovely, lovely.
But isn't that the good news that it's not real? I thought it was connected up to you for some odd reason. So
if it was real, I think we'd have to maybe pause the kitchen and call a doctor because
warn him about the flat lines.
Right,
John. They're about to see some flat lines.
We need David's 1K tone at this point. Okay.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay, friends. So I got an email this week from Zoom saying that I was going to have to pay more, which is okay. By the way, for those of you who are in the Zoom itself, if you'd like to join the Zoom, by the way, just hop on over to toratechguy.com/ZTK and you can join. But if you're in the Zoom, I did thank you, Ray. I started a note for this meeting and I put a couple of things that I thought would be worth sharing in that note. But so Zoom sent out this email saying that starting on December 8th, the price of my Zoom One business plan is going to increase by $20 per year per user. So that's not $20 as a whole. That's $20 per year per user, which if you have 10 users is $200. But here's the good news, is that this price increase brings you two new products that they're rolling into the business plan. The first is Zoom Scheduler. I should bring these up on my thing. on my screen. So Zoom Scheduler is like, what do you call it? I use Schedule Once, or what's it called? Calendly. Calendly is the same thing. I have not jumped onto the Zoom version of this, mostly because my assumption has been that because it's baked into Zoom, that it's really going to be focused on scheduling Zoom meetings as opposed to scheduling lots of different things. But now that it's rolled in for free, I'm absolutely going to take a look at it and see if I can ditch Calendly and use this instead. The other thing really confounded me. So the other thing that we get now with this additional $20 is Zoom Clips Plus, which I did not know was a thing. I literally I had never heard of the Plus. I knew about Zoom Clips. I had never heard of Zoom Clips Plus. And when I Googled Zoom Clips Plus, I saw nothing. No, I got no results from Google. Now, maybe I didn't do a good job of searching, but I did figure it out, but it was not easy. So here's what I figured out. And as it turns out, this, I believe, is brand new as of 2 days ago, which is why this change is brand new as of 2 days ago, I believe. So we all saw this, that Zoom Clips is generally available, that people can, for those of you who don't, I'll make it bigger in a second. For those of you who don't know, Zoom Clips is the offline way to share, to share video. It's actually, I think, a very nice implementation. You can either use your camera or a PIP, picture-in-picture, or you can just do your screen, your desktop. I've used it a number of times, and it's easy, fantastic. So here's what's new. If I scroll down here, to the bottom. So Zoom Clips features include, here's all the stuff that it includes, yada, yada, yada. Now, this gets really confusing. Look at how they wrote this. Zoom Clips Plus, which they had not mentioned yet. This is the first time that I've seen Zoom Clips Plus mentioned anywhere. Zoom Clips Plus is included at no additional cost for paid Zoom One customers, Zoom One Basic, and most customers with other Zoom accounts will have access to Clips Basic. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is that sentence structure is terrible. The punctuation here does not make any sense. I think what they meant is Zoom Clips Plus is included at no additional cost for paid Zoom One customers, period. Then Zoom One Basic users and most customers with other Zoom accounts will have access to Clips Basic. So what is Clips Basic? Basic users will have the ability to record up to 5 clips, and each clip cannot exceed 2 minutes. I think this is new. I think this is a change, these limits. Then if you want to get rid of those limitations, Zoom customers can purchase Clips Plus as an add-on to remove the limit restrictions for $6.99 a month, or $69 a year, I guess is what, $69.90 a year is the standalone price. So moral of the story is that if you are a Zoom business customer, you have to pay $20 more a month per license, but you don't have to pay for Zoom Scheduler or Zoom Clips Plus. Right. Everyone else, if you love Zoom Clips, you now have limits placed on you. I need a.
How is that going to affect you?
Me personally, it's going to cost me $200 more a year. But at some point in the year, I probably would have paid for Zoom Clips Plus. I probably would have, because I have been using it. Not every day, but I promise you, the first time that I went to make a Zoom clip that I wanted to send to someone and it cut me off after 2 minutes or whatever the cutoff is, or is it? Yeah, it's 2 minutes. I would have purchased it so that I could have had that. So, So now I'm only spending $130 extra a year. By the way, that assumes that, well, yeah, you have 10 licenses, so you have to pay. And the schedule, look, if I can get rid of Calendly, I have no idea how much I pay for Calendly, but if I can get rid of Calendly, let me actually look that up, see how much that costs. Calendly.
Isn't Calendar done? A lot of web people do it where you can book somebody else's calendar. Isn't that a calendar online? I can put it in my consulting list. But how do you use that, and how would this replace that?
Here's my cat. Let me actually log in so I can show you how I use it, because I use it like crazy. Everything. Anytime I meet with anybody, it's because they schedule it through Calendly. So for me, James, you have your hand up. I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second. Let me just finish this thought. I just saw that. It's because I have my notes, my Zoom notes covering my participant list. So I have what I've done, and I think I'm paying $10 a month. So $120. So the Zoom version is cheaper. It's almost half of this. And if I'm able to get rid of Calendly and use the Zoom scheduler, then I will have made up my $200. But I have a ton of different types of meetings. So I use it for work, to give tours, for consultations, free consultations, paid consultations. So using Calendly, you can incorporate payments into this, which is really nice. So I don't know if I haven't looked at Zoom Schedule. I'll have to see if they accept payments, if they'll allow you to say on these, I can say on Zoom, by phone, or on site, and people can choose which they prefer. That's something that I would want to do also. So in any case, that's how I use Calendly. So,
and I guess you'd need to check if the Zoom version would allow you to connect to a Google Calendar as opposed to a Zoom calendar.
You're right. That's another. I didn't even think about that. It's a huge thing because I live in my Google Calendar, so all of these are connected to my Google Calendar, and so when someone schedules something, it knows when I'm free. It automatically pops into my calendar. Yeah. I'm gonna look it up now and see if I can figure that out. James, how you doing?
Good. And two things. Sorry, I'm on a different microphone today. So my understanding of the Zoom scheduler, it is more of that kind of you set up times for people to schedule to you, and then they can schedule, like instead of you scheduling a meeting with them, they can schedule it with you. And Google has that. They have a method where you can set up like periods of time where people can book times with you, and I created an article of that for kind of like office hours for professors, because we don't use the Zoom scheduler, and we don't use the Zoom clips. I guess I'm totally not clear of what's the advantage of clips as opposed to just recording a Zoom meeting locally to yourself and then sending that recording off to someone.
Right. So a couple of things. First of all, you're absolutely right about Google. Google has this. It's actually relatively new, I think, maybe just a couple of years old. The Zoom scheduler. I'm not sure why I haven't used it. I think actually for me, I think I haven't used it because it doesn't have payment integration, and some of the scheduling that I do, I want people to pay for. So if I'm doing a consultation or something like that, and I just, by the way, we'll get back to what you were saying before, but I'm on Zoom Scheduler now. I just logged into my account so that I could see what it has, what's available, and it looks like until December 8th, I still can't play with it unless I want to pay for it. I'm not going to pay for it because I'm getting it for free or for $200 in a couple weeks. But tell me, sorry, your question again was, about clips. So I think it's just fewer button presses, to be honest with you. With Zoom clips. So let me just jump in over here. So let me open up Zoom. All right, so here we are. And if I want to record a clip, first I have to find it. There it is, clips. Create clip. And now it brings up this guy here. So this create clip, I can choose what do I want to use. I'm going to use the audio system that I'm in. What camera? If I want to use a PIP, I can choose the camera, and then start recording. I get 3, 2, 1, and now let me pull this over so you can see. You get this little guy. Now, I actually don't know what it's recording. I'm not sure what. Oh, it's recording this screen, sorry. So, and then I'm done. So now I didn't have to start a meeting. I didn't have to press record. And I don't have to now go into my recordings. I don't have to wait for it to process. I don't have to do any of that. And I've just got it right here with a shareable link. I can email it or I can grab the link. Oh, look at this, guys. I think this is new, actually. You can download. I don't think that was there before. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that was there. So for me, that's why, and sorry, there's one more. This is primarily, I think, for sharing your desktop. And to do that in Zoom, so you have to start a meeting, you have to press record, you have to click share screen, you have to choose the screen you want to share, you have to make your recording, you have to stop the meeting, wait for the recording to process, then find it, then go in and share it. Whereas here, it just kind of happens. So not that I'm trying to sell anything, but that's how I've found it more helpful. Does that make sense, James?
So a user error kind of, because all those things you said to me are like, I get up in the morning, I put on my shoes and I dress myself and
yes, but you're strange.
As
like
opposed
me.
to
and
I get up and someone, had the clothes picked for me, it just seems like it's a matter of just some slight variations.
Yeah, it's less clicks, less friction. That's my gut. Look, I'm not on the dev team. I have no idea, but my gut is that, people yes, we can start a Zoom meeting in a heartbeat. We don't have to think about it. I still think for the majority of people who haven't done this every single day for the past 3 years, the easier you can make it, the better. That's if I had to guess.
And maybe I'm not sure on this, but so can you with Zoom, I don't know, whatever account level, can't you just always local record?
Sure, I think so. Can't you?
It's not like recording is not available for basic users. Anyone could record, so you could record your meeting past the 2 minutes and go, aha, I got my 3-minute recording in.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. That's the workaround. Yeah. Professor Frank changed his name. Sorry, James. I got distracted by
somebody changed it. I didn't change it.
Oh, you didn't? I didn't do it. It wasn't me.
Who could have co-host abilities and do such a thing?
Don't pick me. Don't pick me. A Canadian wouldn't do that to the other Canadian. That's all I'm saying.
It's hilarious. Maybe, David, it'd be useful for you to show the web portal Zoom clips management section as well, just so they're seeing what happens on the back end and how it's not in your regular recordings. It's in its own managed little section.
Yeah. So it's down here on the left. Let me make myself big again. So it's down here on the left-hand side. Go into clips. And now I've got the clips that I've made. So again, I was working with the developer of a particular app, and I needed to show him why something wasn't working. So I just did a quick little screen share, sort of explaining what was happening. Go back to clips. I've got my clips that have been shared with me, starred trash notifications, things like that.
Now drill down into a clip and show us what you can do with one of the clips.
Sure. So here is this guy. So now I've got, I can share this. So there, it looks like there are three things I can do. I can share, which will give me a shareable link. I can also change permissions, of course. Click on more settings. You can do password protection, passcode protection. I think that's new also. So you can set up a passcode there. So you can just send someone's email. And I assume that this would need to be an email associated with, actually, you know what? I'm going to try an email that I have that is not associated with a Zoom account. Because I assume this would have to be. No, I'm wrong. Yeah, so it does not have to be someone with a Zoom account, because that account does not have Zoom. All right, so that's the share button. Then the link button is just a quick copy for the link. The download, you get an MP4 file. Look at that, that went over right away. That's nice. Let's see how, and it's already there. And here's that video. Yeah. All right, nice. And what's over here? Star this clip, move to trash, and presumably if I send this to other people, actually, you know what? Let me grab the link and I'll put it in our chat. And then if any of you open it up, you should be able to use the emojis here. You should be able to give it thumbs up or whatever. And I imagine that those are time code sensitive. I'm guessing. Yeah, they are. Right. So if I hit that heart at a certain time, that heart's going to stay there.
So one of the differences that I see between this and regular Zoom meeting recordings is it keeps a collection of things that have been shared with you. Searchable collection. One of the Zoom blog posts I read, is giving use cases. One of the things they envision people doing is you want to have a Zoom team chat with somebody and they're not answering. You could send them a video message and they can watch it instead of. So that way, let's say you're sharing a diagram or a flow chart and maybe text isn't enough, you can actually walk them through it and they can watch it later on if they're not immediately available. So you'll have a collection of clips shared with you and stuff that you've made yourself.
An organizational piece that you mentioned actually is, I think, really important, because if you're opening a meeting, recording that meeting, and then sending that to someone, that's great, but then it's in their email or it's in their, however you sent it to them. This is a central repository for all of the clips that you've sent and received. So it's a way to manage all of them.
I think you can comment too, right? Is that?
I don't know. Let's see. Oh yeah, on the right hand side, there's a right.
So people can comment back and forth on stuff too.
Yeah, I didn't understand this point. Yep, James just commented at second 8, and so here, let me just zoom in here so you can see this is actually really kind of nice. I mean, right? If I send a video, I'm not sharing my screen. Yeah, I am. If I send this to someone and I want their feedback, not only can I see it on the right hand side here, but I could hypothetically, as I'm playing the video, I can see the comment. Now, what happens when I click on that? Does anything happen? It would be really nice if that comment kind of popped up on top of the video, but it doesn't.
Well, it opens to the side there, right? So you can see.
Well, no, that was already there. I'm what I'm wondering about is I'm trying to click on, oh, wait a second. It kind of does. I think my green thing's in the way. It just shows me the name of who left this comment. It doesn't show me the actual comment. And it gives me a trash can. What happens if I click the trash can?
You can comment at specific times in the timeline, which also is useful. So if you're doing some sort of project with somebody, and at 37 seconds you say, "Oh, right here is where I want you to change the document or the picture or revise the graphic or whatever it is you're going to say," right? The only thing I have an issue with any system that doesn't have a way to do comment moderation, especially in education, if you've got students or other situations where people might say things that are inappropriate, I feel like sometimes you need comment moderation tools.
Yeah, I was sorry. I'm hesitating because I'm looking at the comments area and there's an edit button. I was wondering if maybe if that had something to do with moderation, but it doesn't. You can delete. So here's the comment. I've got a few options here. I can reply. So there's inline replies. This is nice. Copy a link. So copy link anchoring to time and the content of this comment. So I just copied that link, and now I'm gonna go to a new tab, and it's gonna bring up it brought me right to that spot, and I guess and it highlighted the oh, you know what? Wait a second. Let's play this. I'm wondering what happens to the do the comments highlight as it goes over them? It doesn't look like it.
Change the speed so it goes a little faster.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
So for me, sorry, go ahead.
No,
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go.
Comment moderation. One of the things that I look for in comment moderation is the ability for the owner of the media to not allow the comments to be visible until they've reviewed them and approved them. So let's say Friday night you go on vacation and somebody puts a bunch of racist things in there. Sure, you can delete it after the fact, but in lots of circumstances, I would want to read the comments and approve them before other people can see the comments. So that's what I meant by content moderation.
Check this out. Think about if you're a teacher and you want to flip your classroom, and so you want to send lectures, whatever it is, for people to look at these statistics. You can say between what dates and what dates, how many views, how many reactions, comments, how many have completed. You can go through you can look at each person's completion rate who's popped into this. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's especially if this stuff can be exported as a report, then you can attach grading to it in a significant way.
Yeah, I don't see a way to do that, but to export it. But wow.
But that's another great use for clips. I know a lot of instructors use the tools we provide. You know how in the olden days you would hand in a piece of paper, the instructor would get a red pen and circle and hand it back to you. Lots of times now what instructors do is they'll look at your documentation and they'll screen share it and record it, and they'll give verbal comments and then send you that video clip. And then you can see where they're circling, and they may zoom in or do other things. It depends on what the material is. It's not always written text. But I also know of courses where they're teaching different languages, and the instructor will stop at certain points and say, you pronounced it this way, consider pronouncing it that way, or whatever the feedback is. But I mean, it doesn't just necessarily have to be written text. There's a lot of ways to use video for feedback in instruction.
It would be interesting to see clips expand to allow for voice comments as well as written comments. That would be kind of neat, I think, for teachers.
I think this is pretty new. I mean, it'll probably evolve, and there'll probably be new features as it evolves, right?
Yep. And then there's the last tab. So there's comments, statistics, and then the edit tab. It's got edit basic information, so title, description, tag. And then there's add a call to action button. Oh, look at this. Okay, add a link. So let's do, oh, it's going to require HTTP. PS www.techguide.com /ZTK.
While you're filling that out, some of the other purposes I've heard that this could be used for is things like internal marketing or external marketing. So call to action is really useful for that, like buy now or click here to learn more about our product or whatever it is you want to market, right?
Look at this. Rectangle, ellipse. All right.
So you're saying you can put kind of tagged things in the thing that they can click on it and
yeah, so that's what I just did. So I just added a call to action button. Now you don't have a tremendous amount of flexibility here. I mean, they have different styles that you can do. So I made this style, so it saved it as button style history. I can choose where I want it. Do I want it bottom left, bottom right? I can't, it doesn't look like I can make it any bigger. I wish I could make it a little bigger. But now on this video, if you open the video, presumably, when you click on that, it'll take you to, well, it'll warn you first, and then it'll take you to the ZTK site. If it ever wants to load. There we go.
So if you were an organization that relied on Zoom team chat a lot, Monday morning, the president of the company could record himself and send it out and maybe have a call to action to do something or look at something.
You say you're all fired.
Looks like you can. So in the next iteration of this, I'd love to, first of all, be able to grab these and move them. So, you know, put it on top of a particular part of the video. I'd also love to be able to have it available only for certain times in the video. So be able to put it wherever I want it, have it pop up there for however, you know, whatever, a minute, 10 seconds, and have multiple of them. So really making the video interactive. People can click all around it at different times. But it looks to me like there's a lot of new stuff. I mean, I haven't opened it in a while, but it looks to me like there's a lot of new stuff in here. Pretty cool.
This isn't new as far as technology. Lots of companies offer this, but again, we're always talking about Zoom's trying to become an ecosystem, so you don't need 17 tools to do something, right? You can stay inside the Zoom ecosystem to do all the things you want to do.
And I hadn't thought before about Zoom. You know, Google Classroom is it's a solid product. And although I've never used it with Google Meet, but as the Classroom itself is a solid product, I can see this being huge in the education space for flipped classrooms, for students who are doing online learning, for homeschooling. I just think there's a lot of potential here. Really interesting. You know, and just the last thing I'll say is when whiteboards come to this, when you can integrate whiteboards into this and somehow, really interesting. Sorry about that. Who was pumping in? Is that you, Robert?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that you were looking at Clips through the portal, but Clips is accessible through the web client. Sorry, the Zoom client as well. So
right. So yeah. So he asked me to pull up the portal, but you're absolutely right. So this is the client here. Let me make this guy go away so we can see it better. So this is the client, and just like you've got home, mail, all that other good stuff, and then if I come over here, you got clips, and the same thing. I can see all my all of my clips. Although I'm only seeing one. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm logged into a different account over here. So yes. And if I log into it, if I come into it here, I've got it's the same exact interface actually. Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, I mean, to me, then I guess, you know, from what I said before, I mean, there's a little less friction, but really it's the annotation media sharing aspects of it that define it more than, I think, ease of use. Right.
I think it's ease of use and additional little perks that you get. You know, I could very easily trim my video here. I could very easily share it. I can very easily comment on, like, all these things are built in. Whereas with recording a Zoom meeting and emailing it to someone, you don't have any of that. The commenting isn't there. The reactions isn't there. That's a one way experience. I'm sending you something. And then if we want it to be back and forth, it's a whole Megillah, as we say in the old country. It's like a whole thing. Here, it's all in one spot. I don't know. I think the biggest struggle with this is, do people have a Zoom account? I think a lot of people probably don't, because they don't host meetings, they just attend them, and maybe they haven't needed a Zoom account. And just having people move their workflow into Zoom. I think those are probably the two biggest hurdles. And now there's a 2-minute limit, 5 clips, 2-minute limit per month, I assume.
So on the Zoom community, I'm a community champion, which just means I help people as a volunteer. I've already seen people posting, why can I only have 5 clips? So it's already being used and people are hitting that roadblock, which, you know, they'll either have to live with it or cough up some money, right?
And I have to believe, by the way, that and you've been talking about this for weeks, that charge is not actually for the service, it's really for the storage of the clips.
Zoom is leveraging its immense hosting. You know, they're diversifying and they're trying to make money. Hosting is a big deal for them. It's an underlying infrastructure they spend a lot of money on, and now they're developing tools around it to try to attract people or to sell other services, which makes complete sense from a business perspective, right?
Yep. So what else is happening, folks?
I have a question about last week. Did anyone remember we were talking about the time change, and with the Zoom meetings update, did anyone pay any attention to that? Or I wish Lois was here because she was one of the people talking about it.
Yeah, what was the
It was a James question.
It was a James question. Yeah.
James, it's your fault.
Yeah, I was wondering the way it was said, like it was a James question, kind of like.
So how did it turn out? Did it work out properly, or did it still cause a problem after 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time?
Well, now you have to make your meetings in April or after March 10th, and it's still an issue after March 10th. And I think the issue is more prevalent in making the meetings in Zoom Chrome extension. But I haven't gotten any answers really from Zoom yet on this front. Because after the time change, I went and made 4 more meetings in March and April. One day on the same meeting, I could use Zoom Chrome extension and the Zoom plugin and make 2 different meetings in Zoom for the same meeting. And so the Zoom Chrome extension still had this failure. Now, it's switched now so that the meeting will show up an hour earlier. And then the other interesting thing is, after about a day, one of the meetings that reported wrong did switch to the correct time. So but the one where I created 2 Zoom meetings in the same calendared meeting time slot still showed the error in Zoom Chrome extension, but not in the Zoom plugin. So,
Is the Chrome extension bidirectional?
um,
I never use it, so I don't know.
I mean, you change it and it changes in the other. It just changes
Both ways. If you change it in Zoom, it updates in Chrome, and if you change it in Chrome, it updates in Zoom.
I'd have to check if I change it in Zoom. I don't know that if you change it in Zoom, it does correct the calendar, because the calendar, like the Chrome calendar, is the right time, and it's the Zoom meeting that is the wrong time in the Zoom web portal. So I guess in that sense, that might not be bidirectional, because but yeah,
Well, at least it's not a problem until next April or whenever it is, right? Again.
Well, I mean, the issue is for someone who schedules these meetings
in advance.
And as it gets closer to that date, that's when you start getting the errors, and it kind of catches you off guard. And I mean,
did you open a ticket?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
And they kept on saying the same thing. And
I've heard a few complaints recently about Zoom support. I wonder, I'm not sure what's
Depending on your license, you can ask for a ticket to be escalated to a higher tier.
Yeah.
So that sometimes can be a way, not that the first level support aren't good, but they're reading from scripts and they're looking at, knowledge bases. But quite often, to get someone with a little more in-depth knowledge, you can ask for an escalation and you'll get someone a little more savvy, right?
Yeah.
James, I do have a question for you. Now, you're saying it's the Chrome extension sending it to Zoom, or is it within the Zoom client?
I just see the error more often. I know that one day I spent doing it in the plugin. The issue with the plugin is you only get 100 interactions a day, and so that doesn't mean scheduling 100 meetings. That means when a meeting is scheduled, the first act is it kind of creates the template, and then the second act is it'll put it to a date. And so that's 2 interactions for, so like, you can get to the limit quite quickly, because when you're doing a whole bunch of like testing and going, is it going to error here? Is it going to error? And I know in one of mine, it was wrong using the plugin. But I was, then it broke because it said I reached my 100 interactions a day limit.
That's interesting. I've never heard of that before, but I don't doubt it. I just don't use the Chrome extension. But do you think that Zoom is limiting it to 100 or Google's limiting it to 100?
I guess I didn't read the KB enough to figure out like who was placing the limit. I think the limit's there as like some kind of loop or something's not gonna like totally mess something up like that. So it's a normal person wouldn't be creating more than.
Sure, a lot of companies have flooding prevention so that, it's like a DDoS attack or something. So, but 100 seems pretty low.
We're really slow here at this university, so
Yeah,
Once
James.
once we do 5 things a day, that's it. You've reached your limit. And no, I'm kidding. I better.
As he covers up the logo, right? Yeah. So the reason I was asking is that the only other thing that I can think of is that, and again, this is grasping at straws, but making sure that your Chrome account has the right time zone.
Yep, they all have the right time zone.
Okay.
That's, I mean, but in a sense, there is a slight wrong time zone, because the time zone, which is the GMT minus whatever, changes between that time zone change. And so when you're creating an event, you're actually in a different GMT plus or minus than you are in that other section. So I'm not saying I'm having the issue, creating events and they're hour off if I'm all within the same central daylight time or central standard time. It's when you cross that threshold. And it was much easier last week to be crossing a threshold than you scheduling a meeting in April right now. But certainly there's a lot of people who are scheduling things farther ahead. I think the only thing is you probably do a little more double checking when you schedule that far ahead. Maybe. And so you see something wrong and you go, oh, I put 3 a.m. It's supposed to be 5 a.m. And I guess I'm in those way early hours because most of my testing, I do it in those time areas, so I know that they're not real meetings that I have to be to. Otherwise, I'm like, what's this meeting I scheduled for? Which I have one in 10 minutes. So, but yeah, and I did hit the escalate button on it. So
You'll need to report back to us. Let us know what they say. Yeah. Hey, by the way, just while James is here with us, so this is that clip that I had shared before that everyone had put comments on. And I don't know why, but James is the only person with their name in here. Everyone else is guest.
it's probably because I actually logged in on my Zoom account.
So are the rest of you not logged in your Zoom account?
I'm not logged in the browser window that the Zoom clip came that spawned from the link.
Gotcha.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to make sure. So if you're logged in, you'll get a name. Okay, great. Great.
That would be another control I think Zoom might want to put, which is the owner of the clip should be able to say you must log in to comment, like as an optional toggle. Like maybe you don't care, but maybe you do, and you want to be able to know who made that comment, especially for comment moderation. Otherwise I could say any vile racist stuff, and I just think it's better if they either, the owner of the clip should be able to decide that stuff as well as other comment moderation tools that may come eventually.
That's a really good point. I mean, if you choose to share it just within your org. So for example, I guess as an EDU, all of your students and teachers are part of your org. I don't really know this, I'm assuming. And so if I say, instead of anyone with the link, if I say anyone at my org, then presumably they would have to be logged in order to see it and comment, which would mean that I would by default get their name by any comment that they put.
I haven't looked deeply into this. Maybe those settings exist in the admin panel, but for most of the things I do, we require everyone to be authenticated users. And but if you, for example, put out this generic link and I can comment without signing in, then I can say a lot of bad things, right?
Right. So what we'd love to have is one more layer here. Anyone with the link, any authorized user or Zoom user, or maybe even anyone with I don't know, any Zoom user.
Or have comment moderation where the comments aren't visible until the owner of the clip approves them.
Right.
That way you don't have to sign in, but I also can say I'm not approving your comment to be seen by anyone else.
Right. But that doesn't help me if I want to know who.
Well, your feelings might get hurt, but at least
the rest
of the planet won't.
No, but what I mean is I could block comments, but unless I know who they're from, I can't do anything else with that information. So what I'd love is
reporting. It'd be nice to be able to report, the same way other trust and safety issues in Zoom are reported. Be nice to be able to say, hey, I'm being harassed by some, racist idiot, and I want to report them, and it's going to be a lot harder if they don't authenticate, right?
Yeah. Agreed.
Although it does seem like it's more designed as collaboration, so you would want to be doing it within your kind of organization, that you're doing it. And I can see where you're not in the organization as like, I want this clip out, and people can make a comment saying, I don't understand this point, or please do more on this point, or I'll pay money for the expanded explanation of this thing. And I was kind of thinking that's why you'd have that little overlay, like click here. But you said you can't put it to time. But to put it to time would be perfect. Like, do you want to go to this lesson? Click here, and then you can buy the lesson, of whatever that is. But
well, it's early days, but I mean, I think you could take these links and publish them on a website. You might, if you have web design skills, you might grab a thumbnail and put a link and hot link it, and then it's a public thing. And then if it's a public thing, there should be more protection around it.
But James, what I just heard you talk about was something a little different, and forgive me if I'm going off on a tangent, but you can use comments to create chapter markers or lesson markers, which I hadn't thought of. And so then people, I could just I could put in myself chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, or lesson 1, 2, 3, and then people can click to those lessons. They can't do the payment piece yet, but they can click directly to those lessons using the comments. Although I have to imagine with AI Companion out there, is that what they call it now? With AI Companion, that automatic chapter markers and things like that are going to find the stuff that we sort of already have over in Zoom meetings is going to find its way. Some of those will find their way over to Clips also. Mike, were you going to jump in? I'm sorry, I saw you unmuting. I cut you off.
Yeah, no issues. And I was just going to say again, I can see where, as Frank was talking about, this is very YouTube-ish, and I'll use that with a very, quote in the regards of, the fact that if this is going to be very similar to a YouTube-ish type of platform within Zoom, then Zoom definitely has to take the same considerations that they are already doing, that YouTube is already doing, and make sure that they bring a lot of those functionality over to, especially for the chat section or the comment section. If the person's going to be, you send it out and people are going to be able to view it, fine. But if they're not logged in, let's say in taking Frank's scenario where, we want to be able to moderate the chat or the comments a little more, making sure that you do have the way of being able to, do I allow the comment or not? Or do I allow the person that is a guest in the way that you saw it to actually make comments or not, would be another scenario too that I would take into consideration. But if I'm logged into Zoom on the platform, then I might, have an extra toggle that, as Frank was saying too, how we would actually make sure that if the person is an actual true Zoom user that's in the Zoom system, then they can make a comment. So you might be able to have that, toggle that Zoom likes to have in our admin panel to say toggle, has to be a Zoom user. Toggle has to be a Zoom user that's part of my enterprise or not. You could have that toggle as well, or, guests are allowed to make comments, yes or no. So you could actually have those 3 different levels when we're talking about that type of stuff. And I do like the chapter marker idea that James came up with as well, which is so similar to what you see a lot on YouTube now, where if you want to skip ahead in the video to see certain sections of I'm instructing, this part of the cooking lesson as an example, then you can go right to that and actually have that embeddable, as Frank was saying, in a web page.
You know what else?
Before I go, I just want to say that was David who did the chapter markers. I didn't want to take credit here for David's brilliant.
You can take credit. I'm okay with that.
But I have to get off. So thank you, guys.
You know what?
James.
Have a good one, James. You know what? I'd also love to see. I'm just looking to see if it's here, and it's not that I can see. I want a way to from the share screen. I want a way to share a clip into, since if we're talking about clips as sort of YouTube-ish, I want a way to be able to easily share a clip into a Zoom meeting.
We don't even have that for recordings though yet. I asked for that a year ago.
You can
in the share menu?
Yeah, there's
from your recording library?
Oh, no. Sorry. I thought you meant just a video. Right.
No, I think if, it's their server, they've got all the back end metadata. I think it'd be cool if you could click on share and it gave you access to your library of recordings and now Zoom clips, and you could pull one of those up and share it instead of having to go fetch the link outside or launch it as a separate entity. I'd like to be able to have it as a source in the share menu.
Right. And when when Zoom Docs comes out, presumably there's going to have to be a way to have those shared, although I don't imagine those would live in the share menu, because I have a feeling that would live a little bit like notes. That would kind of a pop out or a sidebar. But yeah, these things, to be able to share a clip or a recording, you're right. It's all in the same server.
Sure. If I record a clip, an hour before a meeting, and then, there's other ways you could go get it and share it. But I mean, why can't I click on the share button and have my library there and even have it searchable by metadata or titles or whatever, little search bar. And then I can say, hey, I want to show the video clip I recorded an hour before the meeting, because I wanted to get it just right or whatever. Right.
And when I choose that,
could you put this clip in the waiting room so that it's fresh? It's something for today's meeting and you want to let everybody know? If
you download it, right. That's another interesting idea, right?
It's another integration that would be a good idea though, right?
Yeah. And I just thought of one too, which is, the infamous Zoom production studio, of having these clips available now that you could bring in as a production video into a Zoom
digital
webinar.
VTR.
Yeah.
I hope someone from Zoom's taking notes. VTR, video
tape recorder.
Yeah, that's old broadcasting.
All broadcasting terminology.
Thank you.
Can be a lot of capabilities of this, because again, a lot of people right now will use, YouTube, bring in YouTube clips and share their screen and bring in a YouTube clip to play back a video. Why not have it within the actual ecosystem?
I do it in OBS too.
Right. So if I were to bring something in, I would do something like that, Ecamm or OBS. I'm taking a class now, and the teacher very often brings in very short little video clips, and the way she's doing it is those video clips have been shared with her in Google Drive, so she just plays them through Google Drive. It would be a much more seamless experience to have those be able to be saved in her Zoom library next to all of her Zoom docs, and then be able to just bring those right up in a meeting.
And be able to upload to the Zoom platform videos that you've already pre-produced
Right.
in-house.
So not just Zoom clips, but other videos maybe that you've produced also
Right.
for sharing. Which you can share those now in the share menu. There's a video tab, but you're not grabbing them from within the Zoom ecosystem. You're just finding them on your desktop. Mr. Professor.
I hope that doesn't stick. I haven't played with Zoom Clips a lot. It actually became live in my admin panel today, and I turned it off immediately because we have a process where we have to vet things, and I can't just turn whatever I want on. But so maybe you know the answer. When you do a Zoom clip, will it record system audio? So like obviously it'll do your microphone, but will it, like if you wanted to record something from your desktop, will it also grab the system audio? Or do you have to get loopback or VB cables or something in order to trick it into doing system audio?
So I don't know. Let's give it a shot. Let me actually, bear with me for a second here. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to open up a second browser so that we can give this a shot. Now I'm going to have to, how am I going to do this? All right, so here I've got a YouTube video playing. Let me find a better YouTube video. Because otherwise we're going to get, okay,
well, don't get a strike.
I know.
Just when you open Zoom Clips and it gives you the choices of the sources.
So let me try.
It was one of the sources system audio, I guess is all I'm asking.
Yeah. Create clip. Oh, to create a clip, you have to use the Zoom client. So let me open the Zoom client. I closed it, I'm sorry. Okay.
Just make sure you're in the same account, otherwise it'll ask you to end that other Zoom meeting.
No, I'm in a different account. So create clip. Okay. So create clip. And so let me not choose any of my fancy schmancy stuff. I'm just using MacBook Pro microphone. Advanced settings. It doesn't look like there's anywhere so I've got virtual backgrounds, which I don't want. I've got layout and wallpaper. I'm going to change to have my camera in it. So now I've got my camera in it. Bear with me a second here. How do I go back to, advanced settings. Okay. So I'm going to choose this. I'm just choosing my regular MacBook Pro microphone. Under advanced settings, I'm not going to do a virtual background. Layout and wallpaper. What is that? Sorry, I know we're not getting to your, all right, how you want it to look. The screen share on you. Okay, that's fine. I don't care about that. None and none. Back. Touch up and effects, mirror my video, noise suppression. But I don't see a way to capture system audio unless you have.
Maybe they don't want the copyright issues. But I mean, obviously you could use loopback or audio hijack, or on Windows you could use VB cables, or what is it? VB banana and VB potato or whatever it is.
Well, I'm noticing that David, you do have access to NDI audio, right? I see that there.
Well, yeah, but that's, I mean, again, we're not normal. Like, I mean,
understood. I'm just saying, but it is basically, so it's any audio device that your PC or Mac is seeing.
Oh, right. Absolutely. Just like in a Zoom meeting. It's going to see any. So if I were when I do it using my Rodecaster Pro because I have the sound routed so I can, and it would now pick it up. But that's actually a really good catch, Frank, that it doesn't capture system audio. Because that's important. It really, at this point, it's really meant for, I think, voiceovers over a PIP or something like that.
Right. And
Sorry,
so again, for the Windows world, we would, because again, the, it's not coming to me, the virtual cables that is in PCs, those are actually classified as devices as well. So we would actually be able to bring that in.
Gotcha.
Well, la-di-da for you Windows people.
Yeah.
I can make an aggregate device on my Mac.
I can
Aggregate
VPN
away
from South Africa into my work machine, and then why do I have a software update available? Oh,
We have a new member of the panel,
who's here?
Liberty.
Liberty.
She's been outed. She may want to hide.
She can't hide anymore.
You don't have to, Lib. It's so nice to have you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to have you here. So what other things are, what else is on our agenda? What else are people working on? What's going on in people's Zoom lives?
I attended a meeting this week and hopefully some more meetings with other educators talking about the privacy and ethical concerns about using AI in education. A lot of schools are trying to figure out whether or not we should be using Zoom's AI tools or not, especially from a privacy perspective.
Privacy in the sense that if somebody says something in a meeting and then it's transcribed.
Sure. Note summaries, different things.
I'm not sure at this point you all have to worry about the AI quoting people because it's not nearly accurate enough, at least in my limited usage.
No, but even that's a concern. What if it misquotes somebody? And
agreed.
You know, some of the ChatGPT and stuff hallucinates, right? So what if it attributes something to somebody they didn't say?
I don't know whether this is legislation or how it's being presented, but the major Facebook, what have you, they've been asked to authenticate, not take any political ads during the political season until the provider of the ad marks it as legitimate, no AI, no fake this or that. I'm not sure that it's something they can legislate, but I think it's something that that seems to be a popular push for it. Otherwise, if they don't certify it, then you shouldn't share it, I guess is the idea.
I'm not American, but wouldn't you get a Fourth Amendment challenge?
Well, I would argue the bigger problem is self-regulation rarely works. Asking, anybody can ask me to say that something isn't AI generated, and I'm happy to put a little stamp on there that says that I made it, but that doesn't mean anything. It's really the third party oversight that we need.
But it's virtually impossible.
Right. I don't disagree. Although, I mean, OpenAI just did have a huge conference this week. I don't know if anyone saw it, and one of the things they talked about, Mike saw it. One of the things they talked about was GPTs, sorry, and being able to create sort of your own large language model to be very specific. And they talked about integration with Canva, integration with a couple other places. I can't imagine seeing them really tightly integrate with Zoom since they've got Microsoft money, but that would be really nice.
Well, speaking of Microsoft money, this week was also GitHub Universe 2023, which was quite huge. I was involved with those couple days, and AI was basically, top 3 on the list. AI, security, and basically more developing on the developer side. So basically, as we would say in Canada, the Coles Notes version of GitHub Universe is basically that they brought out and it's been out for a few months now, but there was a big push at the actual show for GitHub Copilot. So they're very Microsoft-ish because everything AI is officially getting the word Copilot, not to be confused with Zoom doing theirs, which is companion. Companion? Is that the right word that Zoom is using, guys? Yeah, everybody's
Yeah,
not
AI companion.
Yeah, so AI companion in Zoom. So Microsoft is sort of branding the Copilot word. So GitHub is also using that Copilot word, and you're actually have it's very developer based, but it is still ChatGPT 4 in the back end. So you can still do regular ChatGPT 4 type questions to the system, but it is still very much developer based, which is very, as David was saying, they were talking about GPTs this week at OpenAI. So basically, you could think of the GitHub Copilot as sort of its own GPT focused on the developer world. So, you know, if you wanted to convert that old COBOL, this was one of their marketing scenarios for the developers in the crowd. Basically, if you did some old COBOL programming back in the day and all of a sudden you got a COBOL program that you need to convert to insert language here, that GitHub Copilot could potentially do that for you if you just ask it to. So as examples of that, and of course, you know, GitHub Copilot can also do any kind of different programming language that's popular, Python, Perl, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that was pretty big this week when it came to AI related things this week. And of course, next week is Microsoft Ignite, and they will be, of course, heavily talking about, you know, Bing, aka Copilot, and that will be one of the big topics that'll be going on for those 4 days as well.
I spent 10 iterations of trying to get the Chat GPT graphic thing, Dale E, trying to get it to give me a doctor sitting in their office with a laptop sitting on top of a bunch of books so that they could look eye to eye. And after 10 iterations, this is what they gave me. And that wasn't as bad as the other one that they gave me, which was, where did it go? Which was this one. That's literally after 10 iterations trying to get me. And I made every time, what is that camera doing there? I've tried it on all of the systems. I've tried it daily. I've tried it on Midjourney. Nobody can, I guess it's an anathema to have it on a stack of books looking at it. It's just something wasn't programmed in, and it's very frustrating.
Are you doing that in, do you pay for ChatGPT?
I do. I pay for a couple of them.
Okay, because I actually jumped in here because they announced the ability to create images, but I paid for a month and then I stopped. I don't think you can do that with 3.5. I think you have to be on 4.
No, this is Dale E, which is their graphic competition to Midjourney.
No, understood, but isn't it supposed to happen through ChatGPT?
Yes,
it is. Yeah, it is using the ChatGPT engine, David, but it is, you have to be part of their pro account. So you definitely have to pay to get access to DALL-E. Yeah. Now, again, there was a lot of changes this week, which Ray, you may want to check with your accounts, because they're starting to merge a few things together now. The word on the street was that DALL-E now will also be part of ChatGPT 4.0. So they're going to start bringing things together where everything was separated. You had to have separate accounts before. Now they're starting to combine things together.
But that's still, I'm in that situation now where it's combined, but it shouldn't, it's not going to change the large language model, which clearly does not say that you can operate a laptop on a stack of books with the doctor, and it even repeated back, it's a doctor-patient relationship.
Yeah,
couldn't do it.
Liberty is saying that you do need 4 for DALL-E. The LLM is updated to April 2023, they said. Hey, by the way, just bringing us back to Zoom, unless you all, Mike, did you guys talk about Jim's question yet?
No, I was just going to bring that up right now for everybody. So Jim
go for it.
on YouTube definitely did ask a question. He was asking, he says, is there a global setting to set audio to activate when you share as opposed to having to click on the little tick box when you share?
So let me show you all what he's talking about. So I'm going to, I actually have to switch accounts because I don't want to start something. I need a third account. Hold on a second. Actually, you know what? I can use this account. So I'm going to go ahead and start a meeting. New meeting. It'll just be easier to show this from a separate meeting. All right. Bear with me a second. All right, here we go. So I'm now in a meeting over here. And if I go to share screen, if I'm showing a video, something that is a video with audio, then I have to click down here. So there are two clicks. First of all, if you're just playing music, you have to click share sound. And you can choose stereo or mono. I never screen share, so this is the first time I'm seeing this. And then the second one is optimized for video clip. As by default, if you click this, it will click the share screen for you, share sound for you. So the question is there a way to have this kind of a global setting to let this automatically turn on? And it's funny that you asked this, Jim, because when we were having our discussion about the ability to share clips into a Zoom meeting, what was running through my head is when I choose to share a clip, I want this stuff to be checked automatically. I shouldn't have to, if I'm sharing a video, and I actually don't know, I wonder if we go under advanced, let me uncheck this. If I choose okay. So when you click video, that you're going to share a video, it automatically chooses these for you. And I would want the same behavior with clips. But now when you choose, look at this though, when you choose computer audio, it doesn't click share sound. And I can't even share sound. Why not? That's interesting.
Isn't that redundant though? Share sound, you are sharing sound.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess, but I'm just surprised that it doesn't just click, it doesn't put a check mark down there. So I know.
David, it did give you the same options though, as you saw, mono and stereo there.
Yeah, no, you're right. Absolutely. It's just to dumb people like me, because I know that in order to get the audio to come through nicely, I have to have this checked. When I can't check it, that's disconcerting.
Right.
Or when when I don't see it checked is what I should say.
Right. They should do the same thing like they're doing for videos, what you're saying.
Exactly. Just check it like that.
Right.
Right. And frankly, for video, they should not let you uncheck it. It seems to me.
What if I want to show you a video that has sound and I don't think the sound's
turn the volume
important?
down. Turn the volume down. No, okay, I'm just saying, but I mean, it's right. So I think the answer, unless you guys correct me, I think the answer is no. There is no global setting to have this checked by default. In fact, we've had to not fight, but it's been a struggle just to be able to get original audio to be persistent within a meeting. There was a number of months where you would go into a breakout room and then come back in and your original audio, which is the same thing as share sound, would not stick, which was incredibly frustrating. I still find it frustrating to use original audio.
I purposely now, even though I am using professional audio, I have now purposely gone away from that, and I'm just using low as far as the audio setting in the client.
Oh, you're talking about, hold on, let's just look at what you're saying. So over here. Where is it? Audio settings.
Audio settings.
So you
I'm
have it
doing
set
as you do there, just low,
right,
instead of going into the.
which does allow some, like, so for example, when I did this, this in the Zoom meeting, you all can hear that, I'm assuming pretty well, and it's not
Yes.
choppy and things because I have this set to low. Usually it's set to auto, but it's still, my assumption is that even though I have it set to low, if I was playing a song, it would still be better quality if I turn on original audio. That's at least, that's my assumption.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I said I gave up too, and I've just gone into doing low because it's giving me the cleanest, and it's still Zoom interrupting. Like I know Zoom's still working in the background. The client is still working in the background to suppress stuff, even though it's not really anything to suppress anymore. But it's still trying to. It's happy. Where before, when I was going into the musician part, and again, you guys have heard it a couple times from me. All of a sudden, the audio started getting really, really thin on me, and that was because Zoom was fighting with the ATEM settings that I had, and they were doing this, and I was like, and that's what was coming through.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm logging into my Zoom account. That's a great question, though, Jim. And for some people, a source of frustration. Again, we have to remember that the 99% of the people I think who are using Zoom should be letting Zoom take care of their audio, I think. And so by not giving us a persistent or a global setting, and by hiding or making it a little more difficult to access original audio, it's trying to give people the best audio possible.
I'd like to throw in something on top of that. 99% of the people, I may say maybe 95, they should be making a phone call.
Well, why do you say that?
Well, because they're not paying attention. They're doing something else. The video is purely because it's there. It's like the early days of PowerPoint when it was introduced with every Microsoft account. Everybody was making PowerPoint slides, and they were making crap, and still are making crappy PowerPoint slides. Now, because Zoom is integrated in just a quick call, we think, well, let's do a Zoom or a Teams or any one of them. And when in fact, a phone call would have done just fine.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the thing. Young people don't use the phone. They don't make phone calls. My daughters, so I have a 25 and a 20-year-old, when they call us, it's not a call, it's a FaceTime video call where we're not looking at them.
Right. And they're not looking either because they're looking at this part of the phone instead of up here where the camera is.
I would go even a step further. They're literally not like their phone is on the table. I mean, it's the video is, I think, and this is partly due to Snapchat and things like that. And video is the new phone call, even though we don't take the video part seriously. I don't know any young people who really just make phone calls anymore. So it's, I think you're right, but that's not just a Zoom problem. That's an everything problem or an everything struggle. I don't know. Tony, this is not a phone call. You're on TV. Very nice. Tony, you are being so quiet over there, my friend.
I'm just taking it in, David. I'm kind of behind in terms of getting conversation with Tony Mobley back up, and just.
Are you going to be doing that just on vanilla Zoom? Is that your plan right now?
No, it's actually going to be
with Mimo Live.
It's going to be with Mimo Live.
Yeah. So bringing your guests in via Zoom, though.
Yes.
That's great.
And so we did do a test on Wednesday night, and we broadcast, but we made it private. And I was just kind of fooling around and just testing some things out. And
how'd it go?
it went well. It went well. We had our friend Zachary from Australia TDing, along with Mr. Clark Lopez Waterman, and it was good that we had the infrastructure up and running. And,
So
Zachary was your TD? It's fantastic.
Zachary,
I
yeah.
try to have I chat with him every morning about 5:00 Eastern, and he's a delight every time I see him.
Absolutely, and he's been consistent, and just checking in and wanting to know when we're going to be back up and running. So I'm hoping that we can maybe get a couple of shows in before November is out, and then maybe go forward.
So he's TDing using Mimo Live on his end. Is that what's happening?
Yes, he's using Mimo Live, and we're using Cloudflare to present the different buttons that he needs to push to TD. And I got a chance to play with that after we finished. And so that was my first time actually using all of the buttons and bringing different individuals in. And it's set up so that we can have 2 guests, 3 guests, how many guests we need, and the audio, and the rolling credits and all of that. And so very cool. Very cool. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. And one of the really exciting things about specifically the work that Andy and his team are doing is not the tools that they're building within Zoom, but the way the tools that they're building are being used and integrated with outside of Zoom. So having Zoom integration in Mimo Live, having it integrated into vMix, having it integrated into Ecamm, having all of these different platforms that may have their own interview features, like Ecamm Live has its own interview feature, and frankly, it's good. It's fine. It's not fantastic, but it's good. It's solid. I just did yesterday. I did a half-an-hour interview with a woman from just on the northern tip of Egypt, southern tip of Israel, a town called Eilat. Solid. Didn't have any problems. But there are little things that really would have been better, much better, both from a usability perspective and also from a stability perspective, if Zoom could have been the platform of choice. And so it's really exciting to see that just beginning to really be built out in meaningful ways in other tools, and that you're using it. It's awesome. It's great.
I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to sharing with all of you when we're up and running and on a regular basis. And we are still looking for volunteers to participate if anybody has some extra time.
Sign up. Where do they find? Just go to Conversations with Tony Mobley to find out more.
There's Conversation with Tony Mobley Discord, and if you're interested in volunteering, you can go there. You can also volunteer on the Conversation with Tony Mobley, conversationwithTonyMobley.com website.
Awesome. Fantastic. So what else? Have we got anything else, folks? Is there anything burning? I mean, we're sort of in the lull after Zoomtopia, and waiting for Zoom Docs and all these other goodies to come out next year. Have we missed anything that's new and exciting?
I can give a vMix update if anybody's excited about that, since David was talking about vMix.
I'm excited about integrations. Yeah.
All right. So basically the latest this week is that there was a new latest version of the beta. So we're officially now at 27.0.0.49 for those people that are using older versions. That is the latest version as of this week. And some of the biggest new features that are Zoom related are, since we're getting back to our infamous original sound for musician setting, that is now available in vMix now. So now that capability has been added to vMix, so you could actually bring in that type of sound into the recordings, into your vMix infrastructure as an input. So initially the audio was only strictly regular quality, but now if that user does have the original sound for musician turned on, then vMix is allowing that functionality now to come in from vMix's servers to bring that audio into vMix live.
I don't think I understand. Wouldn't vMix just receive whatever Zoom is sending out? Like, how can vMix
might be able
to not accept original audio?
I think from what I briefly talked to Andy about is that there are two different audio streams that can come, and and again, vMix had to make sure that within the actual Zoom client plugin that they have, and within vMix itself, had to make sure that when they are asking the Zoom servers for that audio, that they're able to handle that extra audio bandwidth coming in, because the quality is up at a higher bit rate, right? And higher, well, let's just say quality, instead of getting too technical, because we don't really know the secret sauce in the background. But Andy is actually correcting me. Mike, you have it backwards. That it's what vMix sends back to Zoom. Okay. All right. Thanks, Andy. Good old Andy watching us on YouTube again. Thanks, Andy. So it was backwards. So we're actually getting, yeah. So now out of vMix, it's original sound. Sorry, it's written weirdly in the actual update within vMix's website. So what basically Andy's telling us is that now vMix can actually send back to the Zoom room or the Zoom meeting or whatever Zoom is connecting to, whatever vMix is connecting to of Zoom's platform, they can now send original sound, where before they couldn't. That is Andy. Hopefully, did I do that right? Andy, let us know.
It sounds like it sounds like they had to create a virtual mic to send into Zoom, so that you could bring all of vMix audio into a virtual mic into Zoom. That's what it sounds like they had to create. Maybe they already had one, and yeah.
Correct. Basically, within vMix itself, you have a choice of what you could either do your main output, or you can do different buses within vMix. So you have your choice of what you want to send back. But again, that quality that they actually were using with the client that was connecting to the Zoom meeting, webinar, whatever, it did not have the full capabilities of sending back original sound, and now it does. I don't know if that's a setting or not, because to be honest, I never have tested the .49 as yet. But the next new thing that they offered in there is that now you can actually do a paste link option when joining Zoom, which wasn't in there before. You manually had to put it in the actual meeting ID and password to get into when you're joining a meeting. So now they've added the capability of being able to just copying and pasting and it automatically detecting. And Andy's actually adding, yeah, imagine you are playing a video in vMix and you want the remote panelists to hear the audio of the video in original sound quality, such as if music is mixed in. Now vMix can do that. So that makes sense to everybody.
Right. No, that's right. So that's a right. It's a virtual mic. It's essentially a virtual mic, and that you're sending back into virtual mic that has original audio built into it. Gotcha. Okay. Sorry.
Right. Okay. And then now you can actually when you actually connect via vMix to the Zoom meeting, Zoom webinar, Zoom platform, there's a Zoom manager portion that also is very similar to vMix Call. vMix Call has a vMix Call manager, and now there's a Zoom manager, which has a similar format, but now they added the capabilities of people being able to just right click on each individual person in the meeting and actually add them as an input right away. I haven't seen that myself in the Zoom Manager, but again, I just found out about .49 within an hour before we joined today because I wanted to make sure I found out for everybody .49. But basically, those are the main three things that I saw that were Zoom related in the latest version of the beta.
That's
Very
cool.
important.
Sounds like it's
Beta.
coming along. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and so the things that are still not in so let me just see here. So again, if you wanted to bring in and this is something I did mention when I was doing a bit of a demo of vMix, is that vMix Social within vMix. So the vMix Social has now the capability of bringing the Zoom meeting comments into vMix Social, so you could actually bring them in as lower thirds or wherever you want to put them on the screen.
Wait. Zoom comments?
Zoom comments.
Really?
They can yes, really.
So that's okay. That's cool. That's very cool. So
Yes.
I've been using socialstream.ninja to do that. I don't have it turned on right now, but which is an amazing tool that a guy named Steve creates along with Video Ninja. It's just fantastic, and it can. So the limitation of it, is that you have to be logged in to. So it's just it's a Chrome plugin, and you have to be logged into the meeting from your browser. It does not work with a client because essentially what you do is you open chat and then it kind of scrapes the chat, I think. And then you can send that over to Ecamm or vMix or anything else as an overlay and bring in the Zoom chat, that was something that I've wanted for a long time. And originally Andy helped me build something. I keep saying helped me. Andy built something that I then played with and pretended to know what I was doing with. And then I found SocialStream, but this is cool if vMix is just having it integrate organically. That's really nice.
Yeah, David, I actually have I can show the Zoom Manager, so I'm just going to do a quick little screen share here of the picture that I have for everybody. Is everybody seeing that okay? Is that looking good?
That is so vMix. That is so ugly. And like
that is so true. I mean, no, that is so true.
It's just so there's true. Nothing pretty about.
Can you
vMix
blow it up a little bit? It's really small.
Sure. Yeah, let me just do that. So you can actually see here at the top, you can see that each individual. This is again not the latest version, but this is what the Zoom Manager looks like. So you actually have the capabilities of seeing each individual input that you actually are bringing in from the meeting and what quality you're getting and what the video, frame rate, and audio. And also then you see all the different people in here. And at the bottom here, it's basically Zoom chat. So you're now in the Zoom meeting here. So as people add messages within Zoom chat, it's coming in here. So Zoom is bringing that in already as a variable. So it just becomes.
That's nice because it also means you can declutter your desktop. You don't have to have the Zoom meeting. You don't have to be focused on the Zoom client or Zoom chat over there. You can have it all within vMix.
Exactly.
Ah, that's nice. That's very cool. Tony, do you happen to know, does Mimo Live, are you able to, is Zoom chat integrated with Mimo Live? Do you happen to know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But we're primarily using Mukana right now as far as conversation with Tony Mopley.
Gotcha.
Oh, Andy has updated us. Yes, Mimo Live can pull in the chat.
Oh, it can. Amazing. Yes. All right. Just between you, me, and the wall, and Andy,
and YouTube. Yep.
When Ecamm better also do that. Like, and I'm gonna be seriously disappointed if they don't take it. And I don't think they will, mostly because think the world is conspiring against me, but I'm going to be really disappointed if they don't use that, but use all of the API's capabilities to do that.
Right. And since Andy is watching us, Andy, the question would be, is this is already built into the Zoom SDK that everybody is using? And I'll have this feeling that Andy will say yes. Yeah. Because if Mimo Live's doing it and vMix is doing it,
I'm sure. Yeah.
It's already there.
Well, we know, right? We know it's there because at Zoomtopia, right? They're able to grab the chat. They're able to grab the emojis and have the emoji wall and all that other stuff. So we know it's available. It's just who's able to take advantage of it and really use it to the best of its ability. Very, very good. Anything else?
Oh, there we go. And Andy says, and I quote, anything ZoomOSC can do, all the others
I can do better.
No. He puts in capitals, could do.
Right. Well, that's my fear, Andy, is that I'm going to end up a disappointed David because they're not going to take full advantage. But who knows? Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. But that's awesome that vMix is doing it. And again, I remember a few weeks ago, I don't remember who announced this, but Ray, have a lovely weekend. But there was a conversation somewhere online about if all of these other tools integrating the ISO functionality and being able to grab chat, if that's going to deprecate the ISO tools and all of that. And I think Andy actually said at one point that the whole point, to a certain extent, is to deprecate ISO. The whole point is to take that functionality and build it into everything else, so that the whole world is using Zoom, not just the people who have bought into ZoomISO. But if it's built into vMix and Ecamm and all these other platforms, then the whole world is able to use the backbone of Zoom, which is fantastic. Well, my friends, I feel like we may have exhausted our Zoom newsless week. Frank, how's the weather?
The snow is still on the ground, but I think it's supposed to warm up next week.
Yeah, they got snow in Ottawa.
Wait a second.
We did not in Toronto.
Me?
No, it's Canada. Welcome to Canada. Yes.
The weather outside is frightful, and welcome to Canada.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Not a big deal if you're from here.
I guess not. I lived in
What's
Boston.
the weather there?
I lived in Boston for 25 years, so I'm used to the snow also. I've just forgotten about it.
Frank, be prepared. It's going to be Miami, Florida-ish weather-ish. So go for it, David.
What's the temperature there in freedom units?
I have no idea.
In freedom units. That's the best.
What's
Fahrenheit freedom units?
I used to have a weather widget. Wait a second. Do I have a weather? Where's my weather widget? Oh, here it is.
Does that mean you're going to convert it for us Canadians?
No. Here's my weather widget.
Oh, there's the weather widget. All right.
Well, I didn't see 60.
It is 86.
86. Oh my goodness. That's nice weather. Send it up here.
86 godforsaken degrees.
Is it humid though, or is it just nice?
No, now it's actually been really pleasant the past couple of weeks. 2 weeks ago, it turned. It's like a light switch down here. 2 weeks ago, it turned from being horrible to, you know what? 86 and a cool breeze is okay.
How do you enjoy hot chocolate at Christmas when it's 86 degrees?
I celebrate Hanukkah.
Well, whatever you celebrate. How do you enjoy hot chocolate when it's
That's
that
how
hot?
I got out of that question. Is that
I don't know.
No, you're right. You're right. There's no enjoying hot cocoa in Florida.
See, we have a canal. I don't know how long. It's the world's. I think it might still be the world's longest outdoor skating rink. And they have little shacks floating on the ice, and you skate up and get a hot chocolate and skate down the canal.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic!
Mm-hmm.
It's like the swim up bars in St. Lucia. That's what we swim up to the bar and you skate out to the hot cocoa.
That's right.
That's fantastic. All right, guys, I think I'm calling it. Liberty, it was good to not see you, but we're so glad you're here. John, lovely to have you here. Tony,
always enjoy the conversation. You guys have a great weekend.
You too. Tony, it was a blessing seeing you. And Hasbuk had to take off because it was really, really late. He's asleep now. So good night, Hasbuk. Frank, good to see you, sir.
Happy weekend, everyone.
Mike, have a good one.
You got it, guys.
We'll see you next time on The Kitchen. Bye.